Emily Mills, Communications Manager with the Australian Trucking Association. Thanks for joining us on Flow.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Now, last year you had to run a conference for your members online, and it's coming up again tomorrow. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. Following the success of our TMC Online last year, we thought, given that a lot of people can't attend things in person, doing it online just means we can access more people no matter where they are. So if they've got a computer or mobile device, they can join.
People who aren't familiar with the Australian Trucking Association, who do you represent? What's the sort of your membership base, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we're the peak trucking body, so our members are the other state and territory associations as well as those specific to different sectors, so furniture removers, for example, or livestock. But with the input from our members, we represent the more than 200,000 people in industry and the more than 50,000 businesses.
And what's the agenda for this particular conference this year? Is there a theme you're going with this year?
Yeah, definitely. So Technology and Maintenance Conference, it's been running for over 20 years, but what this really focuses on is the technical and maintenance issues that matter most. So in terms of what's on the agenda for our conference for tomorrow, we're taking a deep dive into electric trucks. So, are they the future of urban freight? What are some of the barriers? We'll also be looking at wider trucks and trailers. So at the moment, the road laws don't actually allow for wider trucks and trailers, which influences the electric trucks. So most of the ones that are being designed overseas, they're 2.6 metres wide, whereas our rules only allow for trucks that are 2.5 metres wide. So that's something that we're pushing for, is changing the law so we can actually get those electric trucks here in the Australian market.
Well, I was just talking with one of the staff here about a friend of his who's a truckie who was complaining on social media yesterday that even his current truck that's not electric can't go on some roads because even those roads aren't wide enough.
Exactly. So that's something that we'll be really looking at because, we're looking at the productivity of wider trucks and trailers and also the safety benefits as well. So we've got some really interesting thoughts there. The ATA has put in some submissions, so we'll be taking a really good look there at some of the data and how it could actually work.
So what with electric trucks, the fleet, I imagine, doesn't have many of them at this stage. What's the expectation, say, by 2030 or 50, what the numbers will be in terms of electric trucking?
Yeah, so if we look at the moment at what's available overseas, in the US they're sort of leading at the moment about how many models are available. So they're around about 18 different models, so rigid and prime mover. Moving on to Europe, they're around the 6 or 7 mark. But in Australia, we've only got 3 types of electric vehicles that are on the market. So I think it's really understanding not only about the availability of electric trucks, but how our infrastructure as well can support that. Obviously service stations at the moment, they've just got a petrol bowser, so needing to have electric vehicle charging stations and things like that as well. So it's not just about the laws as well, it's also about will we have the right infrastructure in place?
And when you talk about the advocacy around electric trucks and you're talking about compliance issues that governments could help with, is there going to need to be a role, or have you been advocating on the funding front that state or federal governments might need to help get the fleet across to an electric majority?
Yeah, look, I think, with people these days so concerned about, zero emission and low emission vehicles, I really think it's important that not only do we work with our members in the industry, but definitely working with government to try and get it right and making sure that there are the proper things in place for a successful rollout.
Because I'm thinking if I'm a truck owner or a trucking company owner, I've got a fleet that I currently have that in an electric world probably is going to be largely redundant. Wouldn't there need to be some help to transition the fleet into that direction?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And, trucks are expensive, so, if in terms of replacing your fleet, it's something that costs a fair bit.
Yeah, so I think it would be worth people tuning into the conference, which, is it free? Is there a subscription? How do they get involved and sort of get an ear on these issues at the trucking convention?
Definitely. So it is completely free and it's accessible just online. So if you head to the website, which is www.truck.net.au/TMC, you're able to register there. And the really great thing about the platform is that we do have some live sessions so that electric trucks one is a live session where people can put questions to the panel in real time. But if they do miss out, they can actually watch it on demand. So we've got live sessions that'll be recorded, and we've also got a heap of on-demand content as well, so people can watch whenever they want over this Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, that's great. Good innovation for your members and people in the trucking industry. Emily Mills, thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thanks, Ricky.